Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris here from DIY E65 E66.com, and today's video we are going to be replacing our rotors. Now these rotors are very worn, as you can tell. We'll get up there in just a second, but again, these are the original BMW rotors that came on my 750i, and I have 181 miles on my car. Now I know what you guys are thinking, but I use this car for business, so I drive about 40,000 miles per year. Some years a little bit less. I did buy the car pre-owned with 76,000 miles on it. So in about a 3-year period, I went from 76,000 to 181. So I guess we break that down, divided by 3. I'm terrible at math, but anyway, I put a lot of miles on the car. So as we can see here, guys, there is a huge lip right here. And if you looked at my other video about how to replace your front wheel bearing, I came across this problem as well, but I was able to take off the whole rotor with the caliper on it, put it on the paint can, but we need to change the rotors, and so unfortunately my calipers aren't just going to slide off. Now if that step does not apply to you, you can go ahead and stick in your T40, that's Torx T40 right there, and that will remove the rotor bolt. But first we need to take off the caliper. Alright guys, now we're looking at the top of the rotor looking down, and this is the back of our caliper right here, and we see one bolt right there, guys. That's going to be an 18 millimeter, and you will need to remove that one, and then directly below it there is going to be one more right there where my finger is right there. So here's the one I was just pointing to, the one that's lit up down below by my blue towel down there. That is your second 18 millimeter. Now if those are stuck on pretty tight, I do have a little trick that I do, and what I do is I put my 18 millimeter on like this, and then I take my rubber mallet with my other hand and I bang it. Again, you will be backwards because this is threaded on the reverse angle, so I actually will be tightening it this direction and it will loosen up. So I will bang it down towards the ground. Again, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and again, this is reversed because I'm looking at the rotor. And so I will bang it down, and that will loosen up both the bolts. Nice little trick for you guys there. Should be easily, again, guys, just slip right off like that. I'm definitely excited about that, and we didn't have to work and angle grind that bad boy. Now get a paint bucket, get some bungee cords so you're not... All right, guys, now in this point, put your caliper on top of a paint can, get some bungee cords, etc., and make sure that this cable right here, the brake fluid cable, is not being damaged at all, not being strained upon. Neither is the brake pad sensor, which is behind it right there. So we have that out of the way. Now this would be a good time, guys, to go ahead and replace your brake pads if needs be. Check those. I've done mine not too long ago. You can watch my video about that. And again, we are working on the front driver's side. And so the other side, passenger side, is going to be the same except for the brake pad sensor. And again, my pads look very nice, so I don't need to change that. But if they are squealing, this might be a time to go ahead and put some stop squeal on those brake pads. And again, on my brake pad video, I show you how to do that. So coming back to the rotors here, guys. Again, very worn down, as we can see the lip all the way around. So now, let's come down to the point right here, guys. It's pretty simple after that. So we're going to take, again, a T40, and again, this is the E65. We're going to take a T40 and remove that bolt. Alrighty, guys, something I did fail to mention is that you probably want to loosen this bolt while the caliper is still on. There are two options because, again, this is going to be free spinning. You can have someone jump in the car, push the brakes, that way you have access to that bolt nice and tight. Or what I did in this circumstance, again, if your caliper is still on, you could slip like an Allen wrench inside one of these slots where it's pressed up against the caliper, get a little angle on there, etc. But what I did is I actually just took my T40, stuck it in there. Now you want to be careful of stripping, so definitely be careful with this option, guys. I held it with one hand, and so the rotor doesn't move, and then I took my rubber mallet and I just gave it a couple love taps to loosen it, and that was able to free it up there. And so a little tip of the trick for you guys there. Now let's go ahead and remove that completely. And again, this rotor is going to be very heavy, so don't drop that on your foot or anything. Pull that bowl out, and then if for some reason the rotor does not come off easily, you will have to use the rubber mallet and bang it all over the back of the rotor, maybe even the front of the rotor, just to loosen any corrosion. Alrighty, guys, with the new rotor in place, And again, there's a little knuckle right there it just sits on, and you might have to balance it with one hand. And go ahead and screw that bolt on in, tighten it down nice and tight, and then after we have the caliper back on, we'll give it one more nice German strength tighten there. But in the meantime, we see some dust and debris on this. Get a clean cloth and go ahead and just get rid of this dust and debris. And that might not be a necessary step. You always want to start off nice and fresh. So let's grab a rag and go ahead and clean those rotors. And then let's go ahead and put that caliper back on. Again, two 18mm bolts, and again, very simple after that caliper is off. Alright guys, caliper is back on. Remember to tighten down both those caliper bolts nice and tight, and then come back to the rotor bolt and go ahead and give that another crank down just to double check. You always want to double check all your bolts, make sure they're nice and tight. And that is the front rotor replacement, guys. Very simple. Put your tire back on, lower it off the jack stands, etc. It should be the same exact on the opposite side, passenger side, front. Thank you guys so much for watching the front rotor replacement video. Look in that description box below the video for links where you can purchase these rotors and some other parts for your car. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.